Hi, I'm Adam from the Wellington Astronomical Society. In this video, we're looking at the night sky for June 2026. As usual, we'll take a look at the moon phases and planets, and then onto a tour of the constellations and deep sky from Stellarium. Let's get started. Let's start with the moon phases. We have last quarter on the 8th, then a new moon a week later on the 15th, then to first quarter on the 22nd, and a full moon on the 30th. This means that the best observing conditions will be towards the middle of the month, which is also when we have the winter solstice here in the southern hemisphere. So this month's new moon will give us the longest night sky of the year. Plenty of time to get out and have some good viewing, but remember to wrap up warm. Before we move off the moon, there's a couple of interesting events to look out for this month. First, take a look to the western sky on the evening of Wednesday the 17th, just after sunset between 6 and 7 p.m. This is just a couple of days after the new moon. You'll see the waxing toenail moon, probably with the dark part of it a little illuminated by earthshine, and then nearby 3 planets, Mercury, Jupiter and Venus, all in a line. We'll have another moon event happening on the 28th, when the moon is nearly full, but sadly it's at an antisocial hour. So if you've had a fantastic Saturday night and you're still up in the small hours of Sunday morning and the sky is clear, look up to the moon at 4 a.m. because once again we will see an Antares occultation. Now if you miss it, don't worry, because Antares occultations are quite frequent, and in fact 2 days later there's another one, but this time with the star Nunki, which is in the constellation Sagittarius. Now this one might be a little bit more difficult to see because the star is a magnitude 2, so it's less than half as bright as Antares, and the moon is full. But on the bright side, it is at the convenient hour of 7 p.m. As always, with occultations, you can see them well in binoculars, no telescope is needed, and you don't need to go to a dark sky location to see them. Right, let's move on to the planets. At the beginning of the month, we have Mercury, Jupiter and Venus chasing the Sun to the western horizon in the early evening. And in fact, on the 9th and 10th, Jupiter and Venus will have a close encounter with only about 1.5 degrees separating them. So that's around 3 full moon widths for reference. Turning to the early morning planets, we can see Saturn rising around 2:30 and then Mars around 3 hours later. Saturn really likes to be the centre of attention because, as well as its signature ring system, it has at last count 292 moons around it, including this one, Titan, which is the only moon in the solar system with an atmosphere. Right, let's move on to the deep sky and take a look at what's appearing this month. For this, we're on Saturday the 16th. Wrap up warm and find a dark sky location, bring your binoculars and take a look at the western sky as the sun sets. Along with the bright planets, we can see 3 bright stars, Sirius, Canopus and Procyon. Now let's push forward a couple of hours and look over towards the east. We have the anti-solar point at Sagittarius, meaning that we have all of our winter constellations returning, including Scorpius, which is easy to spot as it contains the red giant star Antares. More about Antares later. With Sagittarius on the horizon, this means the Milky Way will be positioned for optimal viewing. Now let's take a look at some of the interesting targets you can see along the Milky Way with binoculars. As we head up towards the zenith, you can see the Southern Cross, and next to it we have a small star cluster which looks like the jewels inside a jewel box, with some different coloured stars, red and blue. This is known as the jewel box cluster, and like all star clusters, while better in a telescope, you will see it through binoculars, and you should be able to make out the different coloured stars. So close by to that, we have the big Eta Carina Nebula, which is envied by Northern Hemisphere viewers, and in fact is the brightest emission nebula visible from the night sky, north or south. Close to the edge of that, you'll find the Gem cluster, So there's a bit of a theme going on with the naming of these star clusters. Here's how that would look in binoculars. Like the jewel box, better in a telescope, but you might see the different coloured stars in the binoculars. Now, staying around the same area, we have a larger star cluster known as the Southern Pleiades. This is because it's an open cluster of blue stars, much like the Pleiades or Matariki. In fact, they're so close to the gem cluster you can almost get them in the same view with the binoculars. Anyway, to finish off, let's swing to the northeast and take a closer look at the area surrounding Antares. When it's not hiding behind the moon, there's a lot more on offer than just a bright red star. Here's the binocular view, and you can see a dust cloud, a star cluster, and some bright blue stars there as well. Anyway, that's our night sky for June. Clear skies, happy stargazing, and as always, thanks for watching.